my movie. But he's been doing a lot of interviews about it. We're just gonna feedback. We're filming on more than one camera, so feel free to pose any questions for the boxing expert. I'm just gonna get this. I want to get his Wikipedia page up,
I've got it. You want it
and
in English?
I think I want it in English.
Here's in English.
Um, so well, you might want to use that
Okay.
for your own. Let me just get this kicking. All right. This is all my notes backstage. You can buy one of these electric boards if you want. So, just show me his professional record. Okay, look, 37 fights, 36 wins. He only lost once, and that was to Marco Antonio Barrera. Okay, first fight, 1992. Final fight, 2002.
One and two.
And two, yeah. He lost that one. Okay, let me start this one up. Sugar, sorry.
You all know the famous trainer. His trainer was an Irishman.
That's right. Brendan Ingle was born in Dublin, I think, and he fought as a professional boxer. And he came to Sheffield, and they wanted to set up a community centre for children, and he started a boxing club.
That's correct. He also had an idea of providing a safe space for the kids, to come, and his message was, to keep them all trained, whether they were black, white. There was a lot of racism at the time. And in the movie, they also refer to Naseem and his family as a family from Pakistan.
Okay.
They also
Mistakenly so.
mistakenly, but obviously people didn't care whether he was Pakistani or not. They were racist towards his color, and it shows you that how it was back then. Racism was really open, and calling names was almost okay. Where now it's not the case. You cannot be called whatever. I'd
P
hate to
word.
call the titles. Yeah. What I liked about the movie, and I'll give you the positive side. I double tapped the screen with my tip.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
What I like, the positive side of the movie, I like that it really took me to my memories as a child. Every Yemeni community, every Yemeni house would have sat down watching Naseem Hamid's fights. It was proud moments for all the Yemenis out there to watch Naseem winning. I really liked the record of that, and I really liked the actor as well, Amir. I think he did really well, and I think he really tried to show, the side of the arrogance that Naseem had, the dance moves, and all of that. And I think we should really take into account and in consideration that Naseem was very young. He started boxing from the age of 7, and his career ends when he was 28 years of old. So I think as a young man, I don't know if I could blame him for the behavior that he had from having, from starting basically with nothing to become so famous and have millions in your accounts. So I think you probably would have needed a lot of training of how to stay humble towards money and fame. And on the movie, Brendan was blamed by his wife and other members, including Naseem himself, in the act, obviously, that he did encourage that behavior. But I think Brendan's intention was that he wanted Naseem not to get affected by the racism calls and chants when he goes into a boxing ring. he would say to him, just embrace it and ignore it and enjoy the fame and enjoy the strength that you have. All these are gifts given to you. So he sort of like encouraged Naseem to have this personality of be proud of what you have, which is not wrong, of course. But I think what happened at the end, that Naseem had this personality also outside the ring, which upset Brendan in times where they had conferences and Naseem was talking about him and his achievement, and Brendan was trying to take over and talk about his achievement, feeling like he had all the credits for where Naseem had reached in his life and his career. I mean, whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. I mean, you can share your opinion. Do you have the same trainer from young age until you are a professional, or do you change trainers, in different levels or different time of belts or life, or I'm not sure?
Sadly, so many boxers in professional boxing end up falling out with their trainer or falling out with their manager. Barry McGuigan, a great Irish featherweight, he fell out with his manager over money. I think to this day, the manager still holds the rights to the footage of the world title that he won. The TV footage, the manager still holds the rights for that. So often on TV, they can't show you the clips of Barry McGuigan winning the world title because his manager uh, had the rights to it. And then Barry McGuigan, when he became a manager and he took on Carl Frampton, they ended up falling out over money. Mike Tyson, the great heavyweight, a lot of Mike Tyson fans like to say that he's the prime Tyson, was the best when he was at his best. His manager died, Cus D'Amato, and people say that completely derailed Mike Tyson and the rest of his career, the rest of his life. He was sort of never got over it and always mourning. And if Cus was here, and people say, oh, what if Cus had been with him, he would never have lost. He would never have lost the title. I don't know, but sadly, the fact that he died, maybe they would have fallen out. Maybe money would have ruined the relationship. You can't say if. You never say if. What happens is what happens. But looking back on it, when someone leaves you prematurely because they've lost their life, you're always going to think, well, it would have been this, it would have been that. Very sadly, later in Naseem's life and at the end of Brendan Ingle's life in 2018, when he passed away, the relationship still had not been patched up.
Yeah.
I find that so sad to hear that Nas even went to the family, tried to attend the funeral, and was told that he's completely not welcome. I don't know if that does that reflect badly on Nas. Was his attitude so terrible that they felt like that, or couldn't they forgive him? I don't know. I find that very sad. And at the end of the movie, they sit down and kind of reconcile, right? But it's not real.
It was not real. Like, obviously, I don't want to say much
Without
because
ruining
people
the film.
want to watch it. But yeah, I think that's what Naseem wanted really to happen also in real life, but they never had the chance to. So I don't know. I'm upset also to see that someone that have done all of this for you, why would you fall out with them, especially if it was over money? But then, was he right about saying that he was very young and his trainer was the highest paid because they had made an agreement when he was very young that he's going to take 25% of whatever Naseem is going to make, and they were even talking. They showed the scenes that when he was very young, I think he was almost 8 or something like that. He told him, one day you'll earn 40 millions and I'll take 25%. So
I'm not sure how much the tip was in here, but 25%.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know, but I think leave money to the side. I think you have to be loyal to everybody that stood by you, believed in you. I believe that this should be the right way. There was also the family mom and dad that really wanted Brendan to stay with Naseem, and made sure that Naseem apologized. But there's also
Naseem's mum and dad.
yeah, they were in
Really?
the movie
Okay.
showing that they put their foot down and said to Naseem to apologize. But there was also the scene of his brother that always was like the in charge of Naseem's Hamid and was not in favor of Brendan and how much he was receiving. So I personally think the movie, as Naseem say it himself, was not about. It's not about.
It's not my movie.
It's not
And
my
they,
movie.
and they made the movie without his permission, and you apparently don't need permission to make a movie about someone.
I mean, this is interesting. I don't know how much people know. If you are alive and someone makes a movie about you and show all the scenes of the decisions that you've been making and discussing, I think possibly if Naseem is saying they don't need his permission, did they ask him if this was right or wrong, or was it the side of Brendan's family that given most of the storylines? Like I don't know how much evidence do you have to provide in giving the story out there, knowing that one person is still alive and will watch it.
Yeah, I was surprised by that because sometimes in fictional films, when they allude to a character being a famous person, they will change the name slightly, but it's kind of obvious who it's meant to be.
I mean, in Naseem's page, he is with the actors. He's out there. He's he had he spoke about the movie as well, about the actor, but whether he's in favor of what the story shows to people, because really now I'm watching this movie and I'm thinking, oh, all of this has happened. It was a long time ago, like what is the story behind the movie coming out now? Am I looking at it and thinking, oh, Naseem, what have you done? You were a terrible man, or am I watching and thinking, oh, you were a legend, and it's sad that you've fallen out with your trainer. What is the message behind the movie?
And one of the directors is Sylvester Stallone. But a lot of people are saying, well, just in name, did he have any contribution to it? Don't know. His name is in the credits. Sylvester Stallone, who came up with the movie Rocky, it is said that Rocky, the Rocky story, was inspired by a boxer called Chuck Wepner, a professional boxer in the 70s who had a title shot against Muhammad Ali Clay, as the Arabs say, and he did much better. No one expected him to win. He was just a sort of a plodding journeyman, but he had a shot at the title, and he took Muhammad Ali all the way to the last round. People say that film inspired Rocky, and Chuck Wepner tried to sue Sylvester Stallone for using his not name but the idea and not giving him a penny out of it. I believe he was unsuccessful in that claim. But at what point? How original do you have to be? What is plagiarism? They say there's nothing new under the sun. A lot of these felt like we watched the Will Smith, Bob Marley film, used a lot of footage from the 70s. Will Smith's Muhammad Ali film uses a lot of clips that are clearly based on When We Were Kings, the documentary shot during the Rumble in the Jungle. A lot of history gets repeated. A lot of your favorite songs, you don't know, they're sampling beats from the 60s and 70s. If something is good and it works, you will hear it again.
Exactly. What I was gonna say.
The belts, the Barrera, we've got him winning. I think he won 2 versions. He won
37 matches. He only lost one. Yeah. And the one that he lost, it was obviously after he left Brendan. Did he win one before without Brendan, or did he lose the first one after Brendan?
That I'm not sure.
Remember.
I've got a feeling that the Antonio Barrera fight might have been a couple after, but certainly the first big one, and in America, pay-per-view, he comes into the ring on a flying carpet,
Yeah.
fulfilling an
Don't show
Arabic
off. Don't. Yeah.
stereotype.
Do not show off too much.
I
I
remember
guess.
him talking about the gloves. He said these gloves are goat skin because that's the best leather, and I want him to be punched in the face with the best leather
That's when he lost.
when he lost. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, everyone's seen so many videos go viral of two fighters squaring up to each other, and one of them being really humble and trying to shake hands,
Yeah.
and the other one saying, "Oh, I'm not going to shake your hand."
But don't they try to encourage this? It's part of the show, isn't it? For publicity, for media, for like they really
Yeah.
try and get two
It is.
boxers swing each other, or it's part of the show, isn't it? Like
It
they
is.
have to play this sort of.
And Muhammad Ali was arrogant like that, and the first sort of trash talker. I think he had much more class than the modern day version. And again, Muhammad Ali was someone that changed his name, changed his religion, all to empower himself. He grew up in a society that didn't accept him, and he wanted to be arrogant to counteract that and say, "No, you think I'm no good? I'm the best." And Naseem also maybe from a racist society, and certainly racist against Pakistanis or people that look Pakistani or who are Muslim. Of course, he was Yemeni, but he inspired a lot of people from any, I think maybe any minority community.
I mean, I guess that's the question. If you were facing racism, even like nowadays, if you were from a race where you're really getting criticized, and then all of a sudden you have the power to become, a champion, how do you feel inside you? Do you know what I mean? Like, what does this add to you? I think if you are natured enough, you would grow up and be humble about it. But if you were really, I think hurt from the inside, it'll probably come out as arrogant and being like, look, you think that we're nothing, but we have managed to make, the name of your country winning.
A lot of the professional boxing in the West, it has been minority communities that have excelled and have empowered themselves through boxing. And maybe some of those characters, when I think of the most arrogant trash talkers or disrespectful trash talkers at the time, Mike Tyson was a very angry young man. He used to say horrible things about his opponents. In his maturity now, I think he's become very eloquent and a very peaceful person later in life. Floyd Money Mayweather, another arrogant individual. Mike Tyson hates him, by the way. He would just big himself up. I'm the best. Money, money, money. It's all about money. But the boxers that came from the former Soviet Union, none of them are arrogant. Alexander Usyk, the undisputed heavyweight champion, very humble. He goes back into the dressing room after the fight to give the belt back to Anthony Joshua, shake his hand, never trash anyone, always very positive and very humble, and says, "First, I thank God." The Klitschko's before him, people argue that they were very robotic. I don't think they have the charisma or the likability factor of Alexander Usyk, but they certainly never engaged in trash talk. Trash talk is just not something you do in those countries. And these countries were Soviet, were communist for a very long time. So their boxers couldn't turn professional. Sport was something that you didn't do for money. You did it for pride. You win the gold in the Olympics and you represent your country for pride, not for money. The minute that the Berlin Wall came down and these countries were allowed to compete in professional boxing, they started winning everything because they were from countries that put money, public funding into sport. And yes, their athletes are a bit robotic and they don't really trash talk. They just shake hands and get on with it. The same in mixed martial arts. Fedor Emelianenko, Russian athlete, one of the best of all time, probably the best heavyweight of all time. never engaged in trash talk, came out to the ring wearing a cross, said, I give thanks to God. Khabib Nurmagomedov, Russian from Dagestan, Muslim. Again, I give all praise to God. I don't trash. He didn't really. Conor McGregor tried to goad him into trash talk, and he never sort of came back to it. In a press conference, Conor tried to promote his whiskey, and Khabib says, "Oh, I can't condone that. I don't drink." And Conor got in his face, "Why don't you drink? Why don't you drink?" And Khabib didn't really react until they actually had the fight, and he ended up spitting his gum shield out and attacking. So, I mean, that fight descended into chaos, and there was a bit of an outburst. But other than that, there was never really any trash talking. So I think this arrogance in sport, in boxing, in martial arts, it's a Western thing. I can understand why Naseem Hamed went down that route, but Brendan said, I wanted him to be arrogant in the ring. I didn't want him to be arrogant out of the ring. That's my Irish accent.
How much does it matter to people, the personality of a sport person?
Well, yeah, the BBC Sports Personality of the Year used to be a great award, but no, no one really. I don't think it's got the same weight as it used to.
And is it depending on how good are you in a sport, or how good are you as a person outside of sport? Like, does it really, reflect, let's say, famous footballers? I mean, I remember some names were famous for drug dealers.
Yeah.
I hate to be, remembered for bad action. I also hate it for other people. If they've done good, good for them. If they've done bad, I wouldn't be talking about it. But I think it has to be taught from young age that if you do hold an award, you're going to be representing your country, your religion, who you are, where you come from, all of that. So you should be, whether you're a famous person or not, you should be accountable of what comes out of your mouth and what you talk and how you behave. And all these people become a role model for millions that watch them outside. I remember disliking a bit the way that Naseem used to walk in the ring with the dance and the way he behaved.
Is that because he's Yemeni?
No.
But you didn't like it? Did you think? Oh.
No. I think at the time, I think it was the only boxing matches that we watched anyway because he's from Yemen. I don't think we were watching any other boxers at the time, but I think I, as a young person, didn't like the arrogancy. And also, it's quite embarrassing if you walk in with all that show and then you lose, right? Like I think, but I still think that he was a young man. Like, how much has
he only
been
lost
taught?
one?
He's only lost one. He had made the whole Yemenis proud of his achievements, and he did a lot for his people, back home, and his family are well established as well. So I think he really did a lot, but sadly, you'll always be remembered for the one loss or the bad things you've done when you were young. But anything else he has done afterwards will not be recorded or shared. How humble he is now. How I've seen Naseem at some point once in Sheffield, and I saw a humble man. That's what I have seen. But I guess people won't care much after you are not out there anymore. But now that it's a movie and it's out there, and it's really about the relationship between Naseem and Brendan that they had, more so than just a story about Naseem. And I don't think it was his side as much as in favor of his side, as much of it was in favor of Brendan's side, I think.
But he has a documentary coming out. He's been mentioning it in every interview, so we'll catch up with that.
Probably that's his chance to say whatever he wanted, to people to hear from him.
If anyone can put us in touch with Prince Naseem, or if I know he watches this channel, let's have an interview, Mr. Prince. We would love to speak to you.
Or a match.
Or a match. I was going to take you on. All right.
Thanks for
Thank
watching.
you for watching. Well done, Sarah.